Okay, let's jump right into this. Today, we're unpacking one of the most wild, tactically fascinating, and honestly, fiercely debated matches of the 2026 World Cup. I'm talking about the quarterfinal clash between defending champions Argentina and a relentlessly organized Switzerland side. This wasn't just your standard game of football. It was this intense, high-stakes puzzle of adaptability, endurance, and some absolutely unprecedented controversy on the biggest stage imaginable. Let's actually kick things off with this incredibly telling post-match admission from Argentina's manager Lionel Scaloni. He said, and I quote, "We knew that we were going to suffer, and this is part of our blood. This is part of our DNA." And honestly, that perfectly sets the tone for what we're about to look at. Because this was not some fluid, easy victory for the defending champs. No way. It was a grueling, 120-minute tactical chess match where patience was pushed literally to its absolute limits. All right, so here is what we're covering today. We'll look at the initial quarterfinal clash, that fiery red card controversy, Switzerland's tactical wall, the three solutions Argentina came up with, and finally, the extra time heroics.
So, Part 1. The quarterfinal clash, a high-stakes deadlock.
Looking back at normal time at Kansas City Stadium, the atmosphere was just electric. And right from the first whistle, it was obvious Switzerland wasn't just there for a participation trophy. Now, Argentina did strike early, right? In the 10th minute, Alexis McAllister firmly heads home a corner from Lionel Messi. But the Swiss side dug their heels in and gradually grew into the contest. After some heavy second-half pressure, Dan and Doy totally deservedly leveled the score in the 67th minute with this really clever finish from a tight angle. But then, just 5 minutes later, a massive turning point completely flipped the script.
Which brings us to Part 2, the red card controversy, mistaken identity?
So, in the 72nd minute, we get this totally unprecedented incident with Swiss star striker Briel Embolo. It literally sent shockwaves across the footballing world because it highlighted this brand new interpretation of the rules for the 2026 tournament. Normally, mistaken identity by VAR meant, fixing an error where the ref booked the wrong guy on the same team for a foul. But under the newly expanded 2026 IFAB rules, VAR can actually intervene if a player is booked when the offense was really a dive or simulation by the opposing player. So here, the ref originally showed a yellow to Argentina's Leandro Paredes for a challenge. But VAR steps in, decides Embolo had actually dived, completely rescinds Paredes' card, and books Embolo instead. And since Embolo was already sitting on a yellow, boom, he's sent off. We're just reporting the facts here, but we absolutely have to acknowledge the total fury coming from the Swiss camp after this. Head coach Murat Yakin flat out said, "This rule destroyed the game today. It is just extremely hurtful." Midfielder Remo Freuler even called it a disaster. You've got to understand, for a Swiss team building serious momentum at 1-1, they felt this incredibly strict, unusual application of the rule totally hijacked their tournament, forcing them to play a man down for practically 50 minutes. So moving past the drama, we're left with this pivotal, tactical question, right? What actually happens when a team with a one-man advantage runs smack into a perfectly organized, highly motivated defensive block? Let's look at Part 3, Switzerland's tactical wall, defending the center. You'd think it turned into a shooting gallery, but instead of crumbling, the Swiss team, anchored by guys like Granit Xhaka and Manuel Akanji, built an absolute fortress in front of their box. If you look at the match dominance metrics, Argentina held 54% possession. They fired off 22 shots compared to Switzerland's 11. But despite being a man down with super low expected goals, Switzerland was terrifying on the counter. They still managed 5 shots on target, literally forcing Emiliano Martínez into making multiple crucial diving saves just to keep Argentina alive. And the shot placement data paints this incredible picture. Out of Argentina's 22 shots, only 7 were actually on target. Another 7 were completely blocked by Swiss defenders. And get this, a massive 10 shots were forced from way outside the penalty area. That tells you Switzerland's central protection was working flawlessly. They basically said, sure, have the territory, but they totally denied Argentina any access to the real danger zones inside the box. Let's move to Part 4, Argentina's 3 solutions, changing the question. This right here is a fascinating coaching lesson. Since Argentina couldn't just play through that Swiss block with their usual intricate passing, they had to get creative. I mean, if you can't break a wall down, you've got to go around it, over it, or under it, right? So instead of just blindly crashing into that Swiss block over and over, Argentina bypassed it entirely by finding 3 distinctly different solutions. First, a set piece, McAllister's header. Second, a long-range strike to beat the low block from the outside. And third, a late transition goal when Switzerland was just completely exhausted and finally lost their shape. They made Switzerland defend 3 totally different scenarios, and eventually, the Swiss just ran out of answers. Which leads into Part 5, Extra Time Heroics. Alvarez and Martinez seal it. So after 110 grueling minutes of just exhausting football, Argentina's incredible bench depth and star power finally started to overwhelm the heavy legs of that 10-man Swiss side. The magic number here is 112. Minute 112 is when the tactical deadlock finally shattered. Substitute Julian Alvarez, who Scaloni brought on specifically for his tireless movement, unleashes this spectacular curling strike from 25 yards out. It broke Swiss hearts and completely changed the trajectory of the whole tournament. Alvarez's words after the match perfectly capture that composure Scaloni was praising. He said, "We knew that if we kept going all together, the goal was going to come." That is calculated patience, and it paid off yet again when Lautaro Martinez pounced on a rebound to seal the 3-1 victory in the 121st minute. In the end, Argentina survived the suffering to book a blockbuster semifinal clash against England in Atlanta. And this is a massive historic achievement for them, by the way. Their 6th consecutive semifinal appearance in major tournaments. Just an absolute testament to their resilience and tactical smarts under immense pressure. So, as you watch the rest of this World Cup, keep this incredible quarterfinal match in the back of your mind. It is a literal masterclass in problem-solving on the pitch. Ask yourself, what does true tactical adaptability look like on the biggest stage? When a team's preferred route is completely blocked, do they just crash blindly into the wall, or do they adapt, pull out new tools, and change the question entirely?